Good evening, my fellow friends. So, when hiking in the Northern California coastal mountain ranges, even in what are we in? Like mid to late August, kind of the dry season's wrapping up, and it there are these fluctuations in temperature that it feels like the oncoming of fall, and it is fall, but we have here what the colonizers called Indian summer, and that just pretty much means August on, um, through August through about October. Maybe with climate change, it's felt like it's more like mid-November. That there are these spikes in heat, and they're always followed by these cool foggy days or cool sunny days. Yesterday was a warm foggy day. It was weird. It was like humid for Californians. It's us being the weather wimps we are. It's like 75 and probably give or take 75% humidity, and yes, that is laughable, but yeah, I mean, you get acclimated to perfect weather and then you tell me. All right, then you'll understand our pain. So, in this glorious area called the Creekside Connector Trail, in a part of the woods called Ocean Song Forest, which is a greater extent of the Willow Creek Preserve, which is a greater extent of the Sonoma Coast State Parks system. It's a vast swath of some pretty nice forests, predominantly of Douglas firs and redwood trees and bay trees and oak trees. Some pretty nice stuff out here, and this is just one of the few crumbs left of redwood forests. 90% of it was logged, so the 10% is just little crumbs left in the state of California. However, that bummer stuff aside, we're going to look at some nice plants, get familiarized with all the ones that you find out here. We're going to talk about some of their ecology, maybe some uses, and familiarize ourselves with the binomial nomenclature for them, and hopefully, the purpose of this video is not only to demonstrate how the environment looks like where they are native to, but to share just, my appreciation for them. So let's dive right into it, eh? So this little swath right here of these wide-leafed plants, we'll start with them. We got this one, which is right here, Rubus parvifolius, otherwise known as the thimbleberry. It's a member of the rose family, the Rosaceae, and they're like basically are one of our wild native raspberries. We actually do have another type of raspberry. Hopefully we'll see it in this forest, but it doesn't always occur. It kind of has a weird distribution, but nonetheless, this one, it's like doesn't really taste like a raspberry. It kind of tastes more like notes of raspberry with a bit of currant and I guess strawberry, but none of it, and it's more sour sweet, more sour than it is sweet. Pretty delicious though. And of course, the western sword fern Polystichum unitum, the most abundant fern in the understory of redwood trees. And this fern is in the family of ferns called the one moment, Polypodiaceae. Yeah. All right. And there's some really nice shrubbery around here. I'm gonna just, here's some of it right here, right in front of that sword fern. This guy, this is a nice one. Now, these maple-like leaves, don't be tricked, it's not really a maple, and it has these thorns, if you can see them. This is sorry, noises, thought I heard something. This is Ribes californica, known as the California gooseberry, and delicious fruits that actually have tiny little thorns on them, but they are just there for show, it seems. They aren't spiny at all. You can pop the fruit right in your mouth, and they are like little bombs of deliciousness. I can't really describe the flavor because this is a group of plants called a currant, generally called a currant. And if you've ever had currant jam, it's fantastic. I mean, or a preserve. If you haven't, do yourself a favor. So get some toast, get some currant jam, put a little bit of butter, and then put the jam on it. Oh. So, here we are. Excuse me, my fellow friend, compatriots. There we go. Here's another member of the gooseberry family, the Grossulariaceae. This is Ribes, R-I-B-E-S, sanguineum. Probably, if I saw some of the flowers, I could tell you that it's probably Ribes sanguineum variety glutinosum. But, you know, maybe you don't need to know all that. Here's some of that fruit. See that? That's a currant. I'm gonna pick the ripest looking one. This looks delicious. Well, let's eat it right now and I'll tell you what they taste like. Okay. It's a little peppery, a little sweet, like a plum, and blueberry. It's like if you took a plum and a blueberry and dialed the sweetness down to half and got a little bit of a spiciness in there. Pretty good. Okay, now, speak of the devil. Here's our native blackberry. Not the raspberry one, but wait, yeah. Native blackberry here. This is Rubus. Oh my gosh. Californica? Yeah. That gooseberry hit different. It's like a spiciness to it. Our wonderful, in the foreground here, a young Douglas fir, Pseudotsuga menziesii. So, truly moving at a botanist pace here. It's been like 8 minutes and have barely moved 20 feet. So, you know, it's a beautiful evening and it's nice and cool. So, it's a great time to go out for a walk. Never make an excuse to not Go out for a walk. It's good for you. Well, anyways, so being that it's kind of like almost fall, there's not a lot of bloom out right now. The spring has passed, and so unfortunately, whenever we come across some nice blooming plants, we won't see probably any of their blooms. And when you're trying to identify plants, that is the easiest way, of course, to learn. If you're just getting into it, learning it. So it also helps to just learn the general characteristics of plants, and you'll see that many of these general characteristics are shared across several different species which are in the same family. So there are certain characteristics, for example, maple trees. They all have palmate leaves. So like, you won't see their samaras or their little blooms. You'll see their leaves. You'll see the general shape. Eventually you'll kind of catch on. You'll learn the general shapes and such things. And it kind of helps narrowing it down if you just focus on, say, a particular family. And if you don't know things, consult and download the iNaturalist app. It is a tremendous assistance. All right, enough yammering about that. Let's dive into some of the ferns. It's a lovely day for ferns. So this big bastard right here, there we go. It's huge. It's like, propping it up, it's like 4 to 5 feet tall. Oh man, come here. Okay, so I'm propping him up right now. There's another one. This is a wonderful specimen of the bracken fern, otherwise known as the western bracken fern too. It is Pteridium aquilinum. That's Pteridium. Pteridium aquilinum, probably variety pubescens. So it looks like they're getting ready to wrap up for their winter dormancy. So yeah, because normally they stand up pretty nice. Like, see that cluster of them right over there? Anyways, so Pteridium aquilinum right here is a member of the Pteridaceae family of ferns. Ptera, like pterodactyl, you know what I mean? So here's some of that Pseudotsuga menziesii again, the Douglas fir. See how the foliage is organized on two planes, one going up and one going down, and they're all needle-like, and their general shape is conical. And even I struggle at times to differentiate a Douglas fir, which is not a true fir, with an actual fir at times. Granted though, say like or there's the red fir kind of looks similar to it. Good thing is they don't generally grow within the same ecoregions. But how about the I was looking at one the other day that I could not. Maybe it is the white fir. Sometimes they just look identical, but there are just little differences. And what else we have? Smells delicious here. It's that redwoods and the bay trees smell put together. And of course the Douglas firs with their little citrusy scent in their foliage. It's like you taste like what's that stuff called? Pine Sol. So, all right, redwoods here. There's a good redwood. Redwood being in the Cupressaceae, that's like the family of cypresses and junipers. Of course, they're redwoods. So, and there are many more of them. But the coastal redwood, Sequoia sempervirens, is constantly, the needles are constantly going to be arranged on one plane, flat. And they have this pinnate structure. And so these tiny little needles support these massive trees. And these aren't even big. Like, this is a second generation forest, meaning it has been cleared once, bulldozed completely by logging industry about 80 to 100 years ago, if not more, maybe a little longer. And yeah, so of course genetically some of these trees might be thousands of years old. Their genetic material, meaning their like chromosomes and things, are potentially thousands of years old. And everything that's sprouted up, what we're looking at, is mostly at its youngest 80 years old, because I know that in this area that they had stopped clearing 80 years ago, which in geologic time is not even a blink of an eye, but it's fun to think about. And Mr. Crow agrees, or is that a raven? But okay, he confirmed it's a raven. So it's like, how dare you call me a crow, you bastard. All right. Another fun thing about these redwood forests is whenever there are these clearings, you get some, you get a little bit more diversity. So, trying to find a good example of such. And sorry if I'm feeling a little uninspired, is redwood forests are, not to knock them, kind of the same throughout every part of the state. There's only when there's huge deluges of water is where you're going to find a little bit more diversity. Here it does rain more than the surrounding area, but it's still not like Humboldt County, where there's some real good stuff. But here we go. We got Whiplia modesta right there. Hydrangeaceae, the hydrangea family. And of course, Rosa californica. This is the California wild rose. Or it might be rose, hold on a minute. You can never tell sometimes if it's Rosa gymnocarpa, the redwood rose, or it's Rosa californica. You know, now that I think of it, I'm pretty sure this is actually Rosa gymnocarpa. And I think that because these leaves aren't as big and juicy as Rosa californica. See that? If I had the blooms, I could tell you. So, but you gotta work with what you got. Hey, nice example of, let's call it foliar identification methods. This is for sure, okay? 100% positive, confirmed. The California lilac, or otherwise called the blue blossom, colloquially. And its botanical name is Ceanothus, 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 Thistiflorus. Great garden plant. Generally, when they're planted in the landscapes, they're smaller and shrubbier. But these guys are quite mature, and they will reach, if you can follow my finger to show you how big it is, then that's like already a foot or two down. So it's up here, it keeps going all the way up to there. That'd be, I'm gonna say, about 30 feet tall. So very mature specimens that grow in this forest. I've never really seen them get this big. So it's probably because there has not been fire here in the past 80 years either, if not longer. So that comes to show you lack of disturbance. For example, fire really creates overgrowth, and overgrowth equals more and more leaf litter on the ground and branches, and that just creates bigger forest fires that are cataclysmic and burn more than they were really supposed to. So, you know, decades of poor land management are essentially because of poor fire strategy. It's just, you know, we get bigger forest fires. You know, people always think about, oh, California, boo, forest fires. Well, blame Smokey the Bear, okay? Look at this beautiful bastard. This is Prosartes hookeri, otherwise known as the fairy bells. And the little fairy bell-shaped flowers are no longer, but they do give way to these little red berries, which I do not want to eat. So These this plant is in the lily family, Liliaceae. What else we got here? We got some. Oh, here, I love this spot. It looks like a botanical garden. So, oh. What else? Oh, cute little fern there. I'm gonna take a little break, and we're gonna talk about decomposition in a bit. There's somebody behind me that I want to let them pass. So, massive tree here. Howdy.
Oh, what's up, bud?
How's it going?
I seen you, but you disappeared. You
I went into
you
the.
went camo on us.
I'm wearing white. I'm easy to find. Have a good walk.
You too, bud. Thank you.
So you see this? This is what I'm talking about just a moment ago. That genetically, these trees are, if not 1,000, maybe 500 or 1,000 years old. Is for a trunk to develop to be this big. This is, I mean, probably 1,000, maybe 900 or so years. And this actually is a clone that was cut, and the mother tree is so damn big that I can't even get it all on camera. The mother tree had to have been here, maybe a little bit out there, occupying a general, I'm going to say a general space of about with a diameter of about 18 feet. Imagine that. I take it back, that this stump I'm standing on, being 1,000 years old, no, like maybe even just about 200. I don't know really, because this is quite a large diameter. But I can't be positive because I'm not a dendrochronologist, nor can I see the rings because they've kind of decomposed to a point where they can't really be visible, nor do I have the time to count them. Okay, so, and if you're wondering, these burn scars are because of the loggers that came here, 80 or more years ago and burned the insides of the trees, which is in order to kill them so that they could be harvested. And it doesn't really kill the tree, it just kind of makes them push out new trees, new clones. So, huge. This was, whatever mother tree was here, however many thousands of years ago or so. All this is now slowly decaying and becoming humic soil. Rich in humic acid is what I mean. And it's feeding, all of its fellow plants. And there's one that is, I can tell you, directly benefiting from that decomposition of that old bastard right there. And that'd be this guy. That one growing out of that stump is this beautiful member of the birch family, the Betulaceae, known as Corylus cornuta. And in English, we would call that the beaked hazelnut. So this is a hazelnut native to the Pacific Northwest. Oh, beautiful, fuzzy leaves. Very fuzzy. You hear that? That's the fuzz. So, and we have a lot of this vine right here. This is these tiny little leaves right here. This is the pink honeysuckle, Lanicera hispidula. It has these cute little honeysuckle, flowers with yellow anthers and pink tubes. It's lovely here, Oh, wonderful example of epiphytic growth. This is something that pretty much happens in the redwood forest a lot. It's stumps of dead trees, mostly redwood, retain enough moisture, of course, over many, many years of that crotch in the trunk being filled with debris, and then the debris decays, and then it gets filled with this nice moss, and then layers upon layers of that moss decays, and lichens are probably a part of that process too. And then, however long that takes, the seedling of the wonderful black huckleberry, which is this guy, Vaccinium ovatum, right here, is they just take hold and become these glorious shrubs. I mean, they already are beautiful shrubs. I mean, just look at, I love them. I love their just disorganized branching structures. But here, I'll show you. See that guy? If you can. It's got right there, Vaccinium ovatum, the black huckleberry, delicious huckleberries that generally show up in August. And God, it's so overgrown here. We need wildfire, man. Whew. But hey, how about that? How about these bay trees, man, they are so beautiful. Look at that foliage, so tropical-esque. And so these bay trees are a very common constituent of this ecosystem, in which they are, I could say, pretty they're pretty reliable. They produce all these nuts, and I'm sure the critters eat them. So, and they get big. I mean, they get huge. This individual, I'd say, is about 80 feet tall, probably 80 years old. Maybe 100 years old. It might have been here while the logging road was still here and all the logging was going on, and they might have just left it alone, I'd hope. But because I don't see any signs of cutting in the past. Or it might have germinated. It might have been just a little sapling, 100 years ago, and it was a shrubby plant by the time they had stopped cutting trees here, just a little shrubby tree, because that's how they look like when they look like little shrubs when they're young, and then they become these massive bastards. Oh, I forgot to mention that the bay trees, Umbellularia californica, it's like umbel because the flowers are shaped like umbels. Okay, clusters of umbels. Here's a cute another black huckleberry just coming out of this fallen tree. Pretty. God, it smells so good here. I wish I could share this scent with you. It's like, I'd put it in terms more familiar with you. Bay leaves with nutmeg and cinnamon, and of course the scent when you open a cedar box, like a cedar thingy, piece of furniture, whatever it is, made of cedar. You know what I'm talking about, if you ever grew up with those. Oh yeah, good old friend, the madrone, this guy with the red bark, the red peely bark, mind you. See the peeling? Yes. Okay, so gorgeous, tropical-esque, large, glossy green leaves. And this guy is in the blueberry family, Ericaceae. This is a young sapling, maybe only about 15 or so years old. They love to grow in these sun pockets in the redwood forest. So does poison oak. Can you see it? Do you see where he is? Right there. Good old poison oak is in the mango family, the Anacardiaceae, and poison oak botanically is called Toxicodendron diversilobum. Now I want you to observe this landscape real quick. Beautiful friends. So, back.
Coast is clear.
Coast is clear. Puppy? Hi, puppy.
What's up, buddy?
Oh yeah. Now, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Can you see it? Maybe if it was from this angle. This is the nice carpet right here of Oxalis oregana. That'd be in the Oxalidaceae right there. Great plant, great plant. Gnawing the leaves for a nice sour surprise. Some more of that Oxalis oregana. So pretty. It's like, okay, I'm gonna say this 100 times until it sinks into your thick skulls. Not a clover. Not related to clovers. Clovers are in the bean family, the Fabaceae. This guy, Oxalis, is in the Oxalidaceae, its own family. Enough said. Oh, I love these ferns. Again with the Pteridium aquilinum. They become brown desiccant around September or maybe November or October, somewhere in there. They just become brown and crispy. Here's one in the process of it dying off, preparing for the winter dormancy. So sure is nice here, my man. Oh, now, if I'm not mistaken, this is a weed, Queen's Anne's lace. I mean, there's no way that Daucus carota, which looks a lot like this, could survive in such a dark environment. It's not possible. So we're gonna take it out. See that? Yeah, no, this is Queen Anne's lace. It's a weed. So, an invasive species. Okay. Wait. Isn't that nice? Don't you want a fern like this? Come on. You know it. Polysticum unitum, the western sword fern. It can tolerate being in a pot for years. A lot of ferns can, but never try to transplant them because 80 or I'd say 99% of the time you won't succeed. You know, if you don't know what you're doing, that is. So if you know, it's easy to kill a plant, especially when it's been ripped out of its home. So don't do it. Buy one from a nursery that was propagated by spores, hopefully, or maybe grown from somebody. But all right, just get a western sword fern, put it in that dark part of your balcony, and you're gonna love it. So we are nearing the end of the hike, and I'm going to show you. It's going to be really bright, so I don't know how good the film quality will be, but yeah, this is like one of the most beautiful views in this part of the woods. So be ready. Ooh, I'm gonna clean the lens. Okay. My apologies. Real quick, a good friend, the tan oak right here with the toothy leaves, Notholithocarpus densiflorus, the tan oak, right there. Nice. And here we go. Sunblast. Wow. Lots of madrones here. I love that. Well, check that out. Nice forest, eh? Over there. So, well, it's hella bright, but you know, if I could just, there we go. Hey, see that? Oh yeah, so way over there on the horizon, that's the ocean. The fog bank is creeping in, and this valley we're overlooking is carved by Willow Creek. So we're overlooking most of the Willow Creek Preserve, and further off into the distance would be the Sonoma Coast State Park. Oh, heaven on earth, a little chunk of heaven, you know, and it came onto earth. So friggin' beautiful. Pictures cannot encapsulate all of it. You have to come here and experience it for yourself. Well, I think that's all I got for you, you know, and y'all take care of yourselves, and you know, those around you. Doesn't hurt to do some of that too. So, peace.